शुरू कर रहा हूँ।
हम्म,
एक बार मैं वापस ऐसे
हम्म।
ही हटा देता हूँ ताकि मुझे ढूंढने में आसानी रहेगी।
उसी के आगे से कर रहे हैं ना
हम्म,
जो
अभी आपने कंक्लूड किया था क्या या मैंने किया?
अभी आपने किया था कंक्लूड।
ठीक, तो आप शुरू करिएगा। हम्म, हम्म। नमस्ते
नमस्कार।
गीता जी, जय स्वामी विवेकानंद। And as we started reading Raj Yoga, it is as each and every word of Swami Vivekananda, it's quite illuminating.
It was beautifully said, Pehle, to be believing in reasoning and faith and having to listen to somebody,
Right.
trying it yourself, and then coming to the conclusion. I think
And he
that's
said
where we were.
he also underlined the importance of direct experience and how
Absolutely.
this branches of knowledge in the form of religion have flown from that fountainhead of someone who experienced.
Mm.
He also said that if some one experience, that means it should be universally applicable. So that experience should be available to you and me also, is what he
Yes.
suggested. So we'll continue with the second part of the first chapter of Raj Yoga. Please.
The science of Raj Yoga, in the first place, proposes to give men such a mean of observing the internal states and the instrument in the mind itself. The power of attention of mind, when properly guided and directed towards the internal world, will analyze the mind and illumining facts for us. The power of mind are like rays of light being dissipated. When they are concentrated, they illumine everything. This is the only source of knowledge that we have. Everyone is using it, both in the external and in the internal world. But for the psychologist, this minute observation, which the scientific man can throw upon the external world, will have to be thrown on the internal world. And this requires a great deal of practice. From our childhood upwards, we have been taught only to pay attention to the things external, never to pay attention to the things internal. And most of us have nearly lost the faculty of observing the internal mechanism. To turn the mind, as it were, inside, stop it from going outside, and then to concentrate all its power and throw them upon the mind itself in order that it may know its own nature, analyze itself, is very hard work. Yet, there is the only way, that is the only way to anything which will be scientific approach to the subject.
Wonderful. Uh,
Beautiful said.
and and I think we are further losing the capacity to see inside with so many distractions. So these words acquire even more significance in the current circumstances.
It's part of yoga, the way he is coming to that is beautiful. The way he is starting to bring it in.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying this really.
So let us continue. What
Please.
is the use of such knowledge? Swami Vivekananda asks. In the first place, knowledge itself is the highest reward of knowledge. And in the second place, there is also utility in it. It will take away our misery when, by analyzing his own mind, man comes face to face, as it were, with something which is never destroyed, something which is, by its own nature, eternally pure and perfect. He will no more be miserable, no more unhappy. All misery comes from fear, from unsatisfied desire. Man will find that he never dies, and then he will have no more fear of death. When he knows that he is perfect, he will have no more vain desires. And both these causes being absent, there will be no more misery. There will be perfect bliss, even while
So
in
beautiful.
this body.
So everything is internalized. We can see that. It's like he's bringing it all in from inside out.
Right?
Is that the reason you were saying fountainhead before? And just
Uh,
curious.
oh, that was those
From
who
inside.
realized, those who experienced.
Hmm.
And then they started preaching the truth, which in the form of books or whatever, but its origin was someone who realized. So that's why we say realized being. And what I was just reading,
Mhm.
Vivekananda indirectly is assuring every human being, saying that when he knows that he's perfect, he will have no more vain desires.
Mm.
Meaning, it is a matter of knowing you are perfect, your bliss is there, but you don't know it. That's what comes across from what we just read. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Please continue.
So I'll continue. There is only one method by which to attain this knowledge, and which is called concentration. The chemist in his laboratory concentrates all the energies of his mind into one focus, and he throws them out upon the materials he is analyzing, and so finds out their secret. The astronomer concentrates all the energies of his mind and projects them through his telescope upon the sky, and the stars, the sun, and the moon give up their secrets to him. The more I can concentrate my thoughts on the matter on which I'm talking to you, the more light I can throw upon it. You are listening to me. And the more you concentrate your thoughts, the more clearly you will grasp what I have to say. Hmm.
Wow.
Amazing. Power of concentration.
Yeah, so now he has started giving us the tools or the method which can be adopted to move towards realization. And
Beautiful. This is step by step. It's coming.
yes, so concentration is the key thing.
Yeah,
And so I'll continue.
please.
It is easier to concentrate the mind on external things. The mind naturally goes outwards, but in the case of religion or psychology or metaphysics, the subject and object are one. The object is internal. The mind itself is the object. And it is necessary to study the mind itself. Mind is studying mind. We know there is the power of the mind called reflective. I'm talking to you at the same time, I'm standing outside, as it were a second person. And knowing and hearing what I am talking, you work and think at the same time. Another portion of your mind stands by and sees what you are thinking. The powers of the mind should be concentrated and turned back upon itself. And as the darkest places reveal their secrets before the penetrating rays of the sun, so will this concentrated mind penetrate its own innermost secrets.
Beautiful.
Thus, will we come to the basis of belief, the real, genuine religion?
Hmm.
We will perceive for ourselves whether we have souls, whether life is of 5 minutes or of eternity, whether there is a God in the universe or none. It will all be revealed to us. This is what Raj Yoga proposes to teach. The goal of all its teaching is how to concentrate the mind,
Hmm.
then how to discover the facts in our own minds, then how to generalize those facts and form our own conclusions from them. It therefore never asks the questions what our religion is, whether we are deists or atheists, whether Christians, Jews, or Buddhists. We are human beings. That is sufficient. Every human being has the right and power to seek for religion. Every human being has the right to ask the reason why and to have his question answered by himself if he or
Hmm.
she takes the trouble.
Beautiful. Beautiful. How it takes it to you, how it puts the authority to you to reason and to decide and to sit with yourself, analyze the things rather than asking and taking it from outside. At the end of the day, I think that is the most relevant thing.
Absolutely. So, when you reflect on your inner most
Absolutely.
space, there is a radiance of realization which would come out is another assurance. But he also concludes if you take the trouble. So many times we are lazy, we don't really work.
Yeah, we say okay उसने बोल दिया तो चलो ठीक है,
uh,
but
uh,
actually though it's better to analyze it within yourself what is for you what it means. That's how I
absolutely.
would take it.
Absolutely.
I'll
So,
continue.
yes.
So far, then, we see that the study of this Raj Yoga, no faith or belief is necessary. Believe nothing until you find it out for yourself. That is what it teaches us. Truth requires no prop to make it stand. Do you mean to say that the facts of our awakened state require any dreams or imagining to prove them? Certainly not. The study of Raj Yoga takes a long time and constant practice. A part of this practice is physical, but the main part of it is mental. As we go along, we shall find out how intimately the mind is connected with the body. If you believe that the mind is simply a finer part of the body and that mind acts upon the body in the saw, in the saw way, the body must act upon the mind. If the body is sick, the mind becomes sick also. If the body is healthy, the mind remains healthy and strong. When one is angry, the mind becomes disturbed. At the same time, when the mind is disturbed, the body also becomes disturbed. Hmm. With the majority of mankind, the mind is entirely under the control of body. The mind is very little developed. The vast majority of humanity, if you will kindly excuse me, is very little removed from the
Oh
animals.
man, oh man.
Really went far.
And he says, "If you kindly excuse me," and then he
Kindly
goes to
excuse
bomb.
me.
Yeah,
Not only that, but in many instances, the power of control is very little higher than that of the lower animals. We have very little command of our minds. Therefore, to bring that command about, to get that control over body and mind, we must take certain physical help. And when the body is sufficiently controlled, we can attempt the manipulation of mind. By manipulation of mind, we shall be able to bring it under our control, make it work as we like, and compel it to concentrate its powers as desired. Very interesting.
very interesting, very powerful, and
I
it,
get the
it.
feeling it's going towards the physical form of yoga. I guess. I don't know.
I think he shakes you, and the way, in simple words, he reminds us, if your body is controlling your mind, meaning your senses
Mhm.
are governing how you will behave. So if you have diabetes, but the sweet would pull you and you will eat it, or for whatever reason you are supposed to abstain from something, you won't, because
Mhm.
the temptation would take charge and l- make you do that which is not healthy. uh, Maybe we'll have one more paragraph and then probably we'll conclude
Sure.
this. So, according to Raj Yogi, all this external world is but the gross form of the internal or subtle. The finer is always the cause, the grosser the effect. So, the external world is the effect, and the internal is the cause. In the
Hmm.
same way, external forces are simply the grosser parts, of which the internal forces are the finer. One who has discovered and learned how to manipulate the internal forces will get the whole of nature under his control. The yogi proposes to himself no less a task than to master the whole universe, to control the whole of nature. He wants to arrive at the point where what we call nature's laws will
Hmm.
have no influence over him, where he will be able to get beyond them all. He'll be master of the whole of nature, internal and external.
Wow.
The progress and civilization of the human race is simply controlling this nature.
Hmm. My God,
Wow.
what power of mind he's talking about. It's amazing. Amazing.
So, when internal and external nature is controlled, this is a very tall order. So, he began with baby steps, recognizing how human beings look at the role of reasoning and believing, and then slowly and gradually he brings this ideal where you
Amazing
are.
clarity. The way he's putting it out there is I it's amazing how with what clarity he's going step by step towards the goal.
So we'll conclude for this session.
Sure.
And once again, this is Raja Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. We are reading first chapter. And today was the second part of the first chapter, and in the next session we'll have third part of the chapter 1 of Raja Yoga. Gita ji, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ashok ji. Oh,
And once again, this we are doing for and reaching through Haramba Studio. So, as is the customary to request you to like, subscribe,
like,
etc. Yeah,
subscribe.
we'll have to practice that. Yeah,
We have to
yeah,
practice this.
practice. Yeah, you did it in a nice way.
That's how they do it.
Yeah, yeah. So, thanks again. Namaste.
Namaskar.